Yes, so we're live, and this is the weekly Project Unify team meeting. Welcome, everybody. Let's start with going to screen share, and we'll see where we end up, basically. So let's just close some tabs and go to the pivotal tracker, and let's open up the to do the Project Unify repo. So there's been development on for the last week on a few different stories, basically. So we on the main project. So the Project Unify, it consists of two projects, basically. One building a Rails application for the back end with an API and an administrative interface, and the second project is to build a hybrid application in Ionic that we can deploy to App Store or Google Store or whatever it's called on Android. So this repo, Project Unify, is the main repo for the Rails application, and then we have this Project Unify Mobile, where we are developing the client, basically. But let me start with just briefing you what's been going on in the main project. So we have three pull requests open right now. One is from Ivan. He implemented the friendly ID gem, and it all looks good apart from a few things that, first of all, we cannot merge this branch right now, so we have to resolve some merging conflicts. But also we need to so Ivan basically missed to update the API endpoint, how we are identifying the user and stuff like that. So it's a good start, but we're not really quite there yet in terms. So this is not ready to merge, but I think it's a good start at this moment. I think he's been away for a few days, so he hasn't had time to update this pull request. But the other two pull requests are kind of dealing with the same feature, and it's been a bit of a headache for me and for UseMago, I guess, and also for Sampriti. That is, we have to implement a way to authorize or to authenticate users through the API using device, basically. So we need to be able to sign up users. We have to sign them in. We have to allow them to update their profile, etc., etc. And it's a bit of a pain. I created a pull request here where I am able to. So I'm not very good at device over APIs, basically, but I can do a sign up and sign in using curl. That works for me in the way I set it up. But that doesn't return a token for us or something. So, but I was kind of hoping that this is something that we can build upon. And from UseMago, I got this device token authentication pull request. I guess you're using this device token gem, right?
Yes, and it has to make the token, but I'm still in in development, so
okay.
I don't manage to make a sign up or create a user or nothing.
Interface, it's conflicting with whatever we try to. Basically, so etc. The problem I have is.
I can hear you, Thomas. I don't know if anyone can hear you.
No, he's breaking up.
Yeah.
Bad connection.
This. Okay, so they can't hear me at the moment.
I can hear you now, maybe. Talking
Yeah.
now?
Yep.
Okay.
Now you're good.
All right. I'm sorry about this. I thought I was on a good connection, but apparently I'm not. But okay, so I just keep on talking a little bit. So first of all, the problem I have with your implementation here, Zmago, is that yes, so it doesn't pass, cannot perfectly enable the H store expose. That's why the tests are failing on. So there is this Postgres enable H store. Yeah, so we can do active. Very cool. Damn. Yes, so we need to enable HStore. I needs to be added to the code on that migration, basically, because that will allow
It. I don't know for the others, but I still can hear you. You know. Can you hear me, Thomas?
I'm also having problems hearing Thomas.
Yeah.
Can you hear us, Thomas?
I can hear you, Michael, and I can hear Kai. Maybe the cables are freezing or something.
I think Thomas has some problems.
Still nothing.
No, I can't hear you.
I think he's maybe rejoining.
I can't hear you, Thomas.
You're muted. Still can't hear you.
Same here. And Nicholas, we can hear Nicholas too.
Yes, I think you're back.
Anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Respond to what I'm saying so I know that you guys are hearing me.
We hear you.
Good. Okay. In so we need to enable in this migration because otherwise we cannot use JSON as a data type to store tokens. And it might work on your local machine, but it won't work on Heroku and on ours. Okay.
Okay.
So I think that you need to
It's
enable extension H store.
can you give me this link in the chat? Because it's breaking, I can not hear you so well.
Okay. Okay. So other than that, so guys, and I think Raul is here and Nicholas is here. Okay. So since my my connection is really bad right at the moment, I need to.
Mago had asked you to put that in the chat, or did you? Oh, okay, you put it in the.
Yeah.
Never mind. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. So I will turn off my video feed. Okay, so Nicholas and Raul, I would like you to do me a favor, either one of you. Since my connection is really bad, I would like us to vote on a few stories today, if possible. And so I would need you to take a lead on the voting process, basically. Is that okay, Raul?
Sure.
All right. So the ones that I would like us to have a look at is this one, the add activity feed, and the gender to users, and create events on system. No, not this one. Yeah. So this one. Okay. So use Facebook events. So tell me if you still hear me, guys. Okay. So basically, what I would like us to do is to vote on this little easy story about adding a gender to user in the user model, and I would like us to go to Slack And yeah, I understand. I try to keep up with this role. So voting on add gender to user. I'm really sorry that I cannot share my screen right now. So the voting will be done like this in this Slack channel of this project. We basically need to add one single attribute to the user model, and that's adding a gender. And we also need to display that in the API endpoint and modify the show view and the form view of the admin interface. And then, of course, cover it with unit tests and acceptance tests, basically. Does anybody need any more clarification on that? All right, so in our Slack channel, I would like you to type in 1, 2, or 3 for well, simple, intermediate, or hard story, and just press enter when I say so. So enter now. Cool. Okay, so I see that Michael and Kai Zmago put it down for 1, and some other people put it down for 2. Does anybody care to make an argument about this? Michael, why did you put it down on for 1? No one? Zmago?
Actually, it's only a migration, or I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's an easy one.
All right. Kai, I think it's your first vote. Now you get to speak.
Yes, I also think like Michael, this is just another column in the database, and some testings for that, and this is not this hard.
Okay, I understand. So the reason why I put it down as a 2 is because the Godmin interface is not as straightforward as one would think it should be in terms of updating the views. So I've done some updates. So for me, it's demystified already. So if I was doing this could be a 1. But I put it down as a 2 because some of the new developers could basically face some issues with updating that part of the application, even though it's just one single attribute. And the other thing is that there is also an API endpoint that needs to be updated, and the JSON response that is returning should be added, and that could also pose a little problem for people that has not worked with those APIs. So it's a little broader than just creating a migration and adding an attribute. So that's why I put it down for 2. Does that make sense?
Yes, sounds quite reasonable.
Can we bump it up to 2?
Okay.
Do we have a consensus on that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's bump it up to 2. Okay. So the next story is about adding an activity feed, and so in website 1 we use a gem called public activity, where we can tag certain controller methods with that they actually are recorded as an activity, etc., etc. But my idea was that we should not use that in this. Well, initially I thought about this, but then I came to a conclusion that perhaps we should rethink this activity feed, and instead of creating our own actions and adding to our own database, we could utilize whatever Project Unify is doing already. And they have a Facebook page, right? So my idea was that we can just go in and Project Unify, where is it? There it is. We could hook up to Facebook using their API and get the content of their feed and basically display that as activity feed in our application, basically. And I've been playing around with this a little bit with one of the many gems, many wrappers of the Facebook API that is out there, and I was thinking that we could get the info about from their feed and also about their events that they plan, and get that displayed in the as a flow, as activity feed in the mobile application. And just to show you how that could potentially look like, no, I cannot show you because I cannot share my screen. Shall we try the screen share again, perhaps, for a second, and see if we have a better connection now. Let me tell you if I start breaking up again, okay?
All right, cool.
So let's see. If I go, let me just stop this for a second, and we start Ionic Serve, and we go to Ionic Lab like this. Okay, so if you see my screen now, you should see two windows with Project Unify application. And if I try to sign in here, we could go into so this is like in my network, for instance, there is like a small feed of activities that is going on, right? It's very similar to the, LinkedIn activities or Facebook activities, and here I could basically display the Facebook posts and info about events, etc., that are happening on their Facebook page. And I think that could be a good way, because they already have Facebook integrated into their own workflow, so they post news and stuff like that. And I think that this could be a good addition to this app. Any thoughts on that? Does anybody have experience working with the Facebook API before?
No.
All right.
No.
Well, that could be a good learning experience, I guess. Yeah. So
what are you gonna do here? You're gonna like pull feeds from Facebook and display them in the activity there?
Yeah, basically, yeah. And my idea is that if they implement like Twitter or some other social network that that they use to push out info on, then we could build a module where we grab stuff from the Facebook page, from the Twitter feed, from whatever, and just sort it in date order, right? And display that on that activity feed, basically.
Yeah.
And then we could potentially add our own activities, like Thomas became friend with Michael, or some other stuff that could potentially prove interesting. But at this point, I would say that just to make it a little simpler and also fill the application with some content, I would say that this activity feed from Facebook could very well suit our needs at the moment, at least. All right. Any thoughts on that? Well, are we ready to vote on this story? Somehow? I guess we are.
Yeah.
So voting on, and then a link, and I'm going to turn off my screen share, of course. Damn it, my computer is so slow. Okay, so if we're ready to vote, type in your values and press enter now. All right. So, Gail and Nicholas, you want to make a case for why you voted 2 on this? Or are you satisfied with just trusting us with a 3? Okay, I'm going to put this down for a 3, if it's okay, unless you guys want to to
Gail
argue
says
for.
it's not working.
Once again?
Gail said in the Google chat that his mic isn't working.
It's
Oh,
not
okay.
working.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're just going to put it down as 3 because the majority was a 3 anyway. Okay. So another thing is, so this create events. So Niklas, we would like to have. So Niklas is in contact with this charity. Also, so he's based here with me in Gothenburg. And Niklas, I would like you to talk to the people in the project, because Amanda said something last time we met with her, that she wanted us to create events in the system, but I would argue that it's much better for them to create events on Facebook, and we can just pull them in, and try to allow the application users to be a little interactive with them, to actually do our RSVPs and stuff. But that would need to be clarified with the client, basically, how they want to work. And one case for actually not creating event objects in our application is that if they're going to use Facebook anyway, then it's enough to create that event on Facebook, and then they don't have to create it in our app, but we can just reuse that info, So you kind of save yourself some time, only having to create one instance of an event. But could you take that upon yourself to talk to them about this and see how they want to do? If they really want to push for creating events and planning stuff, like having calendar functions and shit in this application? Niklas?
Niklas is muted.
Okay. Yeah, I see 2 Niklas, actually.
Yeah.
So either one of them. Hopefully he hears what I'm saying. Can you acknowledge?
Niklas said in the Slack chat that his mic is turned off for some reason.
Okay. So, but if you heard me, Niklas, hopefully you did. Can you just acknowledge that you will talk to the client? Please, he's writing something. I did. Yes, good. Good. Then we don't vote on that story now. Okay, so there is another little story that for people that would like to play around with some jQuery, and that is about making flash messages fade away. So this is just a cosmetics little thing, but there is a let me just fire up the local server here. Let's see, where am I? There we are. So we can do Rails S, and we go to localhost a few times. Yes, so this is the backend as it looks right now, and if we go and create a new user or edit an old user, Thomas, like this, and I update user, then we get a flash message here. User is successfully updated, and it's all cool. It's all Rails, using flash messages. But my idea is that with some jQuery, we can make this little sucker disappear after a while, right? So it could look something like this. If we basically grab this little code and go over here to our console and just execute this, and we will count to 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, gone. Right? I think it's a nice little thingy. So could we implement this? Can we vote on it? Yes, we can.
Okay.
So voting on, and then just copy. All right, type your things in. 1, 2, 3, go. Michael, you put it down as a 2. Why?
Testing.
Testing. Good thing. So JavaScript testing is always a hassle. So we do have Poltergeist configured in this app now. But yes, it could be a little tricky. But I would say that so we do acceptance tests in Cucumber, and what we could do is, I hit save and then I should see something, and then I say wait for 5-6 seconds, and then I should not see stuff anymore. But it's a little tricky. It could be a little tricky. So I am actually willing to put this down as a 2, to be honest. Yeah, I'm willing to go for that. Raul, any thoughts?
Because of testing, then let's bump it to 2.
All right. Mago?
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Yes. And Kai?
Yeah, 2 sounds fine.
2 sounds fine. All right, we're gonna go for 2. Interesting, and I'd really love us to do this story without having to resort to installing several new libraries or gems just to test this little jQuery snippet. But I'll accept any implementation that anybody comes up with. It seems like a easy story, but it could potentially grow big, unfortunately. Okay, so we have another story here that is kind of related to the user authentication, but it's more about not authenticating the user, but authenticating the app where the user is coming from, right? So we want to be able to kind of either whitelist the URLs or on an application level, we want to assign an app ID to the system, and so every call is authenticated somehow. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So the description says, in order to restrict who can access our API, each client of the API, blah blah blah. Absolutely. So let's talk about this kinda. So, well, it's pretty straightforward. We either pass that in as a part of the post request in the headers or somehow, but yeah, I guess it's not much to talk about. Let's just copy this URL. Okay, so yes, let's go to a vote then. If you guys are ready, on 1, 2, 3, go. All right, Raul.
Yes.
Yes, you put it down as a 2.
Yeah.
Yes,
well,
you did.
In any case, like you said, you want us to be able to pass some form of token with every request that we make through the API, and just validate that the API that the token is a valid one that was generated for the application. So, well, pretty straightforward. Let's see.
All right, but is it okay with you if we go with a 3 on this one, or do you want to make a strong argument for a 2?
Well, I'm not the one who's gonna work on it anyway, so it's fine.
All right,
let's make it a 3.
Okay. Let's make it a 3 in this case. I would argue for that. All right. Okay, so another thing that could potentially, I think there was something in the project description about this, and that is the ability to send messages between users. like a simple messaging system, or simple, you know. But anyway, but I think that this could be perhaps down prioritized for now. But what we could do is have a vote either on that or on the ability for users to become friends in the system. Okay, and so every user will be able to, you know, you can watch your own profile, of course, in like this, but you can also view profiles of other users that are made public, and you could potentially like click on, you know, become friends and stuff like that, right? And there are several gems that provides that functionality for us, so we don't have to invent the wheel in any way. And I just put down at least 3 of them here in the notes of this story. And the last one that I found was called Power of Friendship, and that supports both friends and followers, which means that so friends are people that, you know, you send me a friend request and I have to accept that friend request, right? But followers are people that are like kind of lurkers, right? Just follows people. But I don't know if we need that functionality or not. But at least the friendship thing could be a good thing for us. So yeah, because so what we do have now already is on the project Unify. If I go to any user, I just want to show you this for the guys that haven't seen this. So this is a seeded database, so it's not really really good, but you see that we have different skills on every user. And if I show Zachary here and go to an action called Unify, then I get suggestions from the system who he shares some interests with, basically, right? So this is a very because the whole idea with this application is that it will match people together, basically, right? So Telly here has the same. She has politics overlapping Zachary's interests, basically, and Sterling is about sports and stuff like that. So the one idea is that if he gets this match suggestions, he could like click on a link, like befriend them, or, you know, send them a message or stuff like that, basically. All right. So I would say that these 2 features that we're talking about here, both with friendship and for messaging, is kind of vital for the system. All right. So let's have a vote on this, unless somebody needs clarification. This, I mean, so we will implement this in our Rails backend, but it will be accessible through the API. So we need to be able to make post requests and get requests through the different endpoints to actually access those requests, whether they are friends requests or stuff, you know. And probably one good thing later on will be to implement some push notifications about friend requests, but I would say that's way outside the scope of this feature. All right. Okay. So yes, let's go to a vote if you guys are ready. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. All right. And let's see, where was it? To become friends. And let's then do in the same spirit, we could take a vote on this messaging system as well. But the question here, what do you guys think? Should people be able to send messages to people that they are not friends with, or should we implement something like the LinkedIn system, where you actually have to be connected to somebody in order to send him a message? Any thoughts on that?
Better LinkedIn system I think.
Okay.
Because the people then start to spamming and so on.
Okay. So implement restriction to only send send messages to friends, right? So this is connected to needs to be implemented. Okay, so we need that previous story we voted on to be implemented before we can actually do this, I guess.
I think we can ask the project Unify about this too.
Yeah, clarify that with them. But
yeah, I think they're about to do it this way, that you need to be friends. But I will ask them tomorrow.
Yeah, good. But we can start working on this, and if there are any changes, we just update the description of this feature, basically. All right, cool. Okay, so there are also gems for this, I would say. Whoever will take this on, don't reinvent the wheel. I would strongly suggest using something that is already developed by somebody else and adopt this to our needs. Basically, my opinion is that we can use as many out-of-the-box gems, and functionality as possible, because this is about prototyping a solution and pushing something out as soon as possible. So yeah, don't do anything from scratch, because that sucks. But okay, let's vote on this. Ready when you are. 1, 2, 3, go. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So basically, what I would like. So in terms of voting, we're all done right now. Let's see. Allow create, add hello world message. Well, we could vote on this as well, actually. So it's a short presentation of a user. Like I would like it to be displayed like here, where it says founder or passionate about new technologies. Some tagline. I would say that this could be restricted to like 140 characters or something. So it's not too long. But this is just a short stuff that the user would like to have, like a tagline or something. Does that make sense? So it's about adding to the user model, I would say. Okay. All right. So voting on, and then we just click the link. And I keep posting those links so you guys see what we were voting on. But yeah, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah, of course. So if we put down gender for 2, I would say we need to put this one for 2 as well, because it's the same thing, kind of. But I guess if somebody would learn more. I'm leaning to 1 or 2. I don't know. I'll let you guys decide. If anybody changes his mind, just type in new values. I don't know. Michael says 2. 2 and 2. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. We put it down for 2. Great. So allow users create without password, not now. Yes. Okay. So geo attributes to user. Okay, so what this story is about, the reason I wrote it up is like we need to have those attributes in our database, like lat, longitude, city, country, or what have you. But the geolocation of a user will be made using the mobile application and sent off to us using the endpoint, right? I would say, but we need to store these attributes. So this is basically just about adding the geocode attributes, but we will never geocode anybody through this interface, through this admin interface. And this story the way I see it, is not about showing where this user is coming from in this interface either, I would say. I don't think it's needed at this point. So yeah, I would say that this is a little simpler than the Hello World and the gender, because it doesn't require us to update the Godmin interface in any way. But it does require us to add the attributes to the model and also add it to the user endpoint, where we return the individual resource through the API. So that JSON response should include those fields. Even if they're nil, they should be included. Okay. So, if
What
explanation.
fields are we adding?
Once again.
What fields are we adding here?
Once again.
I'm asking what fields are we adding? Okay. Just Latin long.
Oh, okay. Well, it depends. I would say Latin long, but also city and country. I think. Or I don't know. City. I don't know. I think. Well, it's well, actually, yes. Well, the Latin long is enough to return for the API as well, because we can geocode that locally. I don't know. It's okay. So at this point, I would say let's add these 4 attributes, and then we can perhaps remove some of them later on if we don't use them. But we could add them at this point, I think. I don't know. Any thoughts? Help me out here. I don't know.
And you said that information is coming from the mobile application.
It will come from the mobile application later, yes, because that's where the lion's share of signups will be done. Actually.
Okay.
The ability to add users or update users here on the back end is just like an extra feature, basically, for the admins. You know, if somebody calls in and say, "Hey, I forgot my password" and shit like that. You know. But it's the mobile app that will be the main source of signups and geocoding.
Okay, so this feature at the moment is more concerned about having API endpoints to create that value and update it.
Yes. Yes.
Create, viewing it, then okay.
All right. Feel free to add some stuff, some descriptions to the pivotal tracker instance if you like, you know. But okay, so are we ready to vote on it? We are. Let's type it in and hit enter now. Michael goes with 1 again. What the fuck? All right. Cool. But Michael is a good programmer, so you know we're not. Michael, would you? So Gail and Michael, if I bump this up to 2 or down to 2, is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks. Thank you. So, okay. All right. So enough voting for this now. Let's have a look at a quick look at the project Unify mobile. So we have to, what we did, me and Nicholas, we purchased this template from the Ionic market, which is like based on the LinkedIn UI, and we thought that this was a cool thing to do. No, but it's like saves us a lot of development time figuring out what UI we should use. Now we can focus on just testing this stuff and adding good features, basically. So that's why we did that. again, we want to push something out as soon as possible. So I think, I estimate that by using a template, we save at least 2 weeks of development time, and I think it's a good call. And what we have now is, so we have one pull request from Tony, where he scaffolded our mobile applications, and then we have my pull request with this whole thing, basically with this basic application, with Jasmine set up, with Karma, with Protractor set up. I didn't update this yet, and so we have unit testing framework, and we have an acceptance test framework running on this one. And I would say that we go for this basically to use this as the main, app to develop. So I would like us to merge this in as soon as we get the tests passing, and we actually, with the great help of Raul, we made Protractor to run on Semaphore today, and this is the output. We have just some simple tests in this app, and we have Karma running, and we have acceptance test running, so it's cool, so anything, is there any Angular people here that knows AngularJS just before? This silence.
No.
I know that Raul knows some Angular. So,
but I haven't worked with Ionic. Well, it should be not so complex. But yeah.
No. So basically, the first thing we would, after we merge this in, the first thing we would need to do is to actually be able to sign in a user, and also sign up a user. That would be the first task for us, because all you see here is hard coded right now. There is no interaction basically, and I know that you, Raul, you developed something like that for the project Take Me Away. So you had a login controller and stuff like that. So you interacted, yeah. So if there's anything I would like you to do in this project, it would be to take, once we're done with the device endpoints, if you could spend at least some time, perhaps pair with somebody, me perhaps, and teach me some how this is done, and help us out with that stuff. Would that be possible?
Yeah, I can try.
All right. Is there anybody else that would like to learn a little bit of Angular and Ionic and stuff like that?
Yes.
Good. Then definitely we should set up a pair programming session, or mob programming session where we can do this stuff together. That would be really interesting, I would say. So let me just. I think that you created a pull request to my repo, Raul. Is that right?
Yeah, because that's where we were working from.
Yeah. So let's see. Pull request. There we are. Updates.
It says it's failing there because you still have the Travis thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. But I'm gonna merge this now. So, and this means that this one will be updated automatically, right? Yes.
I remember there was some talk about using TypeScript on this project.
Yes, so that's a very good question. So I know that in Tony's application, he added TypeScript, and we could do this as a separate task because TypeScript is not added in my in my pull request. Yeah. But this is something that could be added, definitely. So feel free to do that, or set it up as a task or something.
Perhaps I should talk with Tony and see if we can set that up on the new scaffold.
Yeah. Yes. For some reason, the semaphore is not kicking in on this one. Why not?
Huh. Oh, you need to put the settings for semaphore. This one is running on your account, not the Agile Ventures one.
Okay.
It's fine. I'm gonna create that in the background. I don't know if you have one, so I'm just gonna create one.
But yes, but can you access that? Raoul?
Should
Yes,
should be
okay.
able to.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna turn off the Travis build later on. You know, I can remove the Travis YAML because we don't need it if we're using semaphore. So yeah.
Okay.
But yes, so TypeScript, that's one thing, and you have to sell the idea of TypeScript to the rest of us deadly people that don't understand this. But yes, I'm up for it. Well, actually, I'm already sold because you already explained to me once. But perhaps it could be useful if you explain to the other participants here why you would like to use TypeScript on this.
Well, one of the main reasons why I would like to go with TypeScript is just for the sake of having a project where I could, use it for once. I learned a bit of TypeScript, but I've never applied it to a project before, so we would be very interested in doing that in this one, if possible. The other good thing about TypeScript is that sort of like comes in as it has extra features that you don't have with like vanilla JavaScript. Things like classes, modules, and I mean all the good features that were implemented on the ES6 version of JavaScript are already available on TypeScript, and you can easily write them. You have types, so your variables can be associated with a specific type, which means it kind of limit the risk of having too much conflict or whatever happening when you're writing code, things like that. And it does compile down to normal JavaScript, so it's okay. You could write just normal JavaScript, and TypeScript will recognize it. So yeah.
All right.
Why not use Babel?
Okay, I haven't used Babel myself. The one reason why I went for TypeScript is mainly because the Angular team, for instance, moved to using TypeScript in the latest version of AngularJS, and yeah.
All right. So I posted a link to this series of articles that I'm looking at right now. It's Ionic and TypeScript. This is part 1, and it looks like there are 4 parts. So, guys, if you want to spend some time reading up on this, I would appreciate it. And we can have I mean, let's implement this, and if we face any issues with this, we can always back down, probably, right? But from what I'm hearing, it's an interesting area to explore. So I don't see a reason why not. All right. Cool. Cool. So as soon as I see some green lights on this pull request, we can merge this in. And then you guys can pull this down. I wouldn't do it at the moment, but hopefully tomorrow morning this will be merged in. And installing Ionic and playing around with this is fairly simple. You just kick off a local server, and you can get this up and running on your machine, in your browser. And also, if you have Xcode installed, you can do Ionic iOS run, I think. No, not run. Build. Oh no, let's see. Run iOS, perhaps. Well, there you go. Yes, I have to add the environment to it. I haven't done it yet. So okay, but it's very easy to, if you have Xcode installed, it's very easy to run the iPhone emulator and run your application in that. It's not as straightforward running it in your Android emulator. It took like 20 minutes for my emulator to start, and at the end I got an error saying something, you know, so it's just like fuck off. So, but yeah, it's really easy to run it in as an iOS application. And also there is an iPhone app called Ionic Viewer, and yeah, here we go. This application. So you can download this app to your smartphone, and you can get. I'm going to post a link to this in the channel, and then you can get. You can access this application that we already have created by setting this ID number in the Ionic View app, and that will take you to our, you know, to this template that we're already using, you know. So that is deployed on the Ionic platform, basically. So if you want to play around with this, you just download this Ionic View application, this ID, and you get to play around with the interface if you like. All right. And we will be continuously pushing out new stuff as soon as we merge something in. That will be pushed out. Okay. Okay. Any other questions that we need to discuss right now? If not, I'm thinking this could do it, I guess. So Zmago, you and I need to continue working on this device thing. And if anybody else feels like they have anything to contribute to that work, it's highly prioritized. We need to make a push on that. We need to be able to authenticate users and make them sign up. If not, we're pretty much fucked. So yeah, yeah. Okay, so unless there's anything else, let's stay in touch over Slack, and I see you next week. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Live long and prosper, guys. Take it easy. Bye. So
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.